Hello and welcome to Seagulls Social, Season 3, Episode 36. As you can tell by the tone of my voice, we're all very, very upset right now.
Top spur, what's that?
Top spur, what's that? Well, of course, I'm joined by the boys, Brian Adser and Ben Spalding. Chaps.
Full name.
Yeah, we're getting serious on the pod now because things have just popped off. So, right, let's talk about Brighton Hove Albion versus Tottenham Hotspur yesterday. Now, there's a lot to go
if you're a Tottenham fan and you've come to watch Brighton fans cry and throw their toys out of pram, you've come to the right place. That's what we're going to do for the next 45 minutes to an hour. So enjoy it.
Enjoy
it. Make a cup of tea.
Exactly. Enjoy the meltdown because it's probably going to be enjoyable for you neutrals. Cheers. So, boys, I have created a Google Doc. This is how serious it's got. I've got the FA law and Thousand Misconduct page up. I've got Stellini match fixing as one of my tabs. And I've got a tweet from Simon Stone with an apology. So there's a lot to go through. So I will kick us off, okay? We're going to do a run through just to let everyone know who's listening and watching. We're going to do a run through of every decision of the game. I've made a note of every decision that went either wrong or whatever. You know, we can debate it, and of course the goals and all the action as well on top of that. Go. Yeah, it's going to be a fun one. So let's start off straight away with the Lenglet handball, which a lot of people have gone under the radar, which I know. Yeah, the Lenglet handball from Veltman's when it was the corner, and he sort of knocked it past Lenglet and he's hit his hand. Now, I've watched the replays. I don't know if you boys have, but in my opinion, it was a stonewall handball.
The fact that they didn't even show many replays as well, they kind of just like brush it under the carpet and like, that situation's over. They didn't really they might have checked it. I might have missed that, but it feels like they just were like, oh no, didn't look like it, and then they moved on straight away.
This was my thing. I don't think it got talked about. Like even I had to like dig it out from. I didn't see any like replays or people posting the clip. But yeah, Ryan, let's start with you. Yeah, Lenglet handball, literally right. I think it was about 5-10 minutes in.
Stupid, mate. I don't know how they can not give that. And to be honest, mate, the first half there was by I think half an hour, I think at least 3 big decisions that were mad. And one of them, by the way, can I just say, just to get this out of the way, at Spurs away, I've been there. This is my 3rd time going to Tottenham away, and never in my life have I had to sit down at an away game. And it rattled me differently. I got so annoyed. The stewards come over telling us to sit down, right? And actually, no one sat down because why would we? Because we're at an away game. We've paid for our ticket. We should do what we want. They came over and said this is a seated area only, and you can only sit. And at no point does it say on my ticket, by the way, sitting only. Otherwise, I think I would have thought differently about buying a ticket in the first place. So I'm going to be trying to get some money back off the Tottenham supporter services. Better make that.
So were the stewards coming up to you and like forcing you to sit down?
Sitting us down. So then there's these guys behind us, so they all sit down, right? And if the guys behind us are sitting down, people in front of me are sitting down. I'm the only one left. I have to because I look like an arrogant idiot. Yeah. So I had to do it, and there's only 5 to 10 rows that are sitting. So I had to sit down. And then I did stand up when I think it was Alexis got through and had that chance and that shot. And I think Caicedo had another shot and it hit the post. And there's a couple of moments there. So I didn't sit down for that whole period of where we had like back-to-back shots, as you would if you're at home or as you would at any other game. And this bloke behind me, I don't know his name, and I'm not going to call him out because it's unfair, but he puts his arm on my shoulder and pulls me down to sit me down. And I was like, mate, I'm watching the game. I said, if you were at home right now, this is a fan, by the way. I was like, if you were at home, or sorry, like as in home, as in the Amex, you would not be telling somebody to sit down in front of you. Like maybe you would if you're in the East stand, but come on, like we're through on goal. We're
the family stand.
Can you imagine being a Brighton fan and watching Ryan Adset getting a scrap with another Brighton fan?
I just said, why would I sit down when my team's through on goal? Because it makes no sense. And then. So he's obviously saying to me, look, mate, you're trying to calm me down, and they're trying to calm everyone down. But I was like, so then obviously about 3 minutes later, Son scored, and I was just like, oh my god! And as if that didn't start the game off enough, then this leads on to every other decision. But I wanted to get that bit out of the way because never before have I been forced to sit down at home. Away. So
let's talk about the Son screamer. Now, only thing, again, I'm not trying to dig out Veltman here. I think he gave him quite a bit of space, though, didn't he? He backed off him. He allowed the space. But
it benefited the doubt, though. I feel like Son didn't even he kind of moved away from the box. He didn't run towards the box more. He brought the ball out from the box and then done it, which was, I think, obviously the genius of the goal. Instead of kind of pushing it more towards Veltman.
I think what really annoyed me, like the most out of anything, like don't get me wrong, it was an absolute screamer. It's one of those goals you can't do anything about. Yeah. It was just, you know, 1 in a million, not 1 in a million, but yeah. My biggest thing was the guy has been awful all season, and then against Brighton Hove Albion, he decides to score, his 100th goal, and it's an absolute worldie. But fair play, it was a cracking goal. Like you can't really argue against that. And then talking about the saves as well, Ryan, you mentioned them already. Let's talk about McAllister's long range shot, which was a great save from Lloris, and also the Caicedo shot, which I think he actually got a touch to as well, and he tipped it onto the post. Which again, Lloris has been not great recently, and again just pulls out 2 absolute cracking saves, and I think it just set us up for the day to come, really, wasn't it? It was one of those days.
We owe them big time. We owe them big time after that, really do.
Well, they've done a double over us now, haven't they? So I feel like next season,
the worst double you'll ever see, by the way. That has to be one of the worst double. No one in Premier League history has probably had a more jammy double, or even corrupt double, dare I say, than that. That is horrendous. And
just a question, Ryan, obviously you were in the stadium. At that point, once we've obviously there's still much more injustice to come, but at that point, did you think, it's just not our day, you know, we're hitting the post, that kind of stuff, obviously Sunworldy. Did you think at that point, or do you still keep the faith? Because I know we talked about it recently in recent weeks about our bounce back ability and like we never give up. Yeah. What were your thoughts at the time?
My heart was
your phone near your laptop again.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. That's all right. Sorry.
My heart was saying Julio last minute, because imagine, right, and that would have been the absolute icing on the cake. My head was saying it's just not going to happen, because unfortunately I've seen Harry Kane play football too many times now to know that is only going to end one way. And when he gets into the referee's mouth, it just does my head in. Honestly, I said it in the last podcast. He is insufferable. He is the top 3 most irritating players, and he certainly isn't 3 or 2. He is insufferable. Bruno Fernandes is the only one that comes close. And Tottenham fans, I'm sure, probably hate Bruno Fernandes. So imagine that, but for Kane. Your star man is unbearable. I hate him. I really do.
Mate, when
at no point am I going to be celebrating
him
another Kane.
Him and Caicedo came together
that much.
You're going to be like the ball guy, the Arsenal fan that doesn't celebrate when Harry Kane scores.
Mate, we win the World Cup final, mate. Kane scores. I'm sitting there in dead silence.
Winning penalty, Ryan sat on his hands. No, when Caicedo and Kane came together, it barely touched each other, really. If anything, it was a foul on Caicedo. But then Kane, instead of holding his foot, which is where the contact was, he started holding his knee. You're just thinking, it's embarrassing. It's so embarrassing. After everything that's happened with the Takore thing, of him going down, obviously, rightly so going down, because he was pretty much punched in the face, but then the way he went down and for so long, you think he would be a bit more switched on to think, let me not make such a drama out of nothing, but still continue to do so.
And with Kane as well, it's not like he's done this once or twice. Like it is now becoming a bit of especially with those pushes he does in the back of defenders. You know, when he goes up for a challenge, and sort of gives him a little push in the back, or if he gets he
leans into the back of him, doesn't he?
Yeah, and even if he gets the slightest touch, he'll go down as if he's been shot. And I don't know. I love him as a player, but I don't know. He's got a question.
It's like the whole Lallana thing.
My love for him as a player.
Remember Lallana when we played in the blue kit a couple of seasons ago there, and Lallana he backed into Lallana and somehow was given as a penalty. Always Kane.
Always shambles. And then, of course, the big one. Again, like I said, there's so many injustices.
Which one?
Which one am I talking about? The Mitoma disallowed goal. Now, this is where let's bring in the laws. Okay, so for everyone listening and watching. Yeah, let's bring in Peter Walton. Let's bring in Peter Walton.
Mazdak Walton on the.
Let's hear another clown that's another puppet from the PGMOL tell us what we don't need to hear.
Oh, Ryan, I know I'm a clown, but there's no need to say that. Right, okay, boys. Okay, so for anyone who missed it or is living under a rock and hasn't seen the highlights yet or watched the game, etc., etc.
Face is red already.
A great ball by Mac. Great ball into Mitoma, who chests it. Well, yeah, that was a big debate. Chests it, and a great finish past Lloris. Now,
great goal, actually.
Yeah, great goal. Great setup. Great assist from Mac. And great finish as well from Mitoma. Now, it was checked for 2 to 3 minutes, quite a long time. They deemed it to be handball for Mitoma. Now, Ben, let's start with you, okay? So, first of all, when you watched that goal, did you instantly think, could be chalked off, or were you quite confident that Mitoma had done it properly?
No, I was concerned. I was concerned, not going to lie. I think the reason that we have not got it there is because somehow the linesman has actually said it was handball instead of flagging it as offside. So that's why, that's when it's like, oh, it's not clear and obvious error. I think that might be the case of this one.
But it was reviewed. It was reviewed. And Ryan, let's get your take on it before I give you the laws by the FA. Go on. What was your take on it straight away when you saw it?
I've got to admit, mate, I thought it was a goal because obviously I'm on the other side, but still had a pretty decent view of it. To me, it just looked like he chested down and scored. No Spurs fans, even on the barrier, were complaining. And then when it was obviously going to VAR, we all just thought it was offside. So everyone around us, even Tottenham fans, saying, "Is it offside? What's going on?" So no one even contested. So when obviously it got given as a disallowed goal, everyone's just around saying, "Why?" So it's not. You watch it back and it's so minuscule. And it just infuriates.
And he's been shoved in the back by Romero as well.
Yeah, that is the biggest thing. He got shoved in the back, and it's like, what you meant?
So his body's going forward anyway like that.
Yeah. So, according to the law, boys, handling the ball. Okay. So, I'm going to read this. I'm trying to get through as quick as I can. All right. So, if an offence, it is an offence if a player deliberately touches the ball with their hand or arm, for example, moving their hand towards the ball. This is going to come into play for later on with McAllister as well. Touches the ball with their hand or arm when it has made their body unnaturally bigger. Scores in the opponent's goal directly from their hand or arm, even if accidental, including by the goalkeeper. And immediately after the ball has touched their arm, even if accidental. Now, I've sent you boys a little picture, a nice diagram. So, no handball is covered basically by the sleeve line, and then the rest obviously is handball.
So sleeve is the answer, isn't it?
Yeah, so I think it's hit him here. I think it's hit Matoma here. I don't know if you boys agree, but I think it's hit him here and then sort of slid onto his chest.
Yeah, there.
Yeah, right. Shoulder there, and it's gone onto his chest, and then he's banged it in. So I think that was a terrible call from whoever was in VAR. Was it Salisbury, Michael Salisbury or something like that? Yeah, I think it was a terrible call. So yeah, that was the first disallowed rule according to the rules. Deemed handball, even though it hit his shoulder. So
don't let little Brighton catch the big six. Just don't let him do it. Why would we?
Yeah, if you are a conspiracy theorist, and that is the big one, Brian, isn't it? It's like you're thinking maybe they don't want them to go into this European Super League, so they're going to make them benefit with these tight decisions and that sort of thing. Obviously, I don't think that is the case, but if you were a conspiracy theorist, then you could put two and two together like that to keep them happy.
Yeah. No, agreed. Then go on, Brian.
No, I was just going to say about the Matoma thing. I think if you're going to give that, and then you look at the Brentford one last week where his arm's out here, and they say about proximity, how many different rules are there for all these different things that half the people in the ground don't understand? I mean, including myself, half the time, I'm just thinking, so what's offside again? What's actually handball? What's, you know what I mean? A couple of years ago, there was no rule changes. Everyone knew the rules of football. And then since VAR's come in and they've changed it all up for the modern day, don't get wrong, I love modern football for what it is and tactics and all that. But I think that the way that the decisions have gone, it's just killing the game. Unfortunately, it's completely murdering the game.
Yeah. No, mate.
Who remembers Rodri doing that and getting away with that?
Yeah, that was outrageous.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah. It also as well, Ryan, that's a really, really good point, actually. I think a massive thing as well is, like you said, rules get changed or things get implemented, but we don't, as fans, get told about it. Or if we don't get told about it, it's sort of hidden in, like I said, like on the FA website, which no one's going to go out and search for unless they're making a podcast.
Rattled,
unless you're rattled and making a podcast, you're not going to go out there.
Sunday afternoon.
I think, So I think that's a really key thing. There is the communication between. So PGMOL and the governing body, FA, like they don't communicate these things well enough. And also my big thing as well, and I was going to get onto this later on, but I might as well say it now. I think a huge thing that would be really helpful is two things. Get referees to come out and do interviews after a game. Please. Get them to explain their decisions. Come out and actually get interviewed, just like the players do, just like the managers do, just like everyone else gets held accountable. Why shouldn't referees do the same? And second of all, let's have press conferences as well. Like where let's say Howard Webb comes out at the end of the game and explains, right, this, and this is why we gave this decision, this is why. So then fans can at least have something to go by, and it's not just this stupid, half-hearted apologies which we got from Howard Webb.
It's like dropping a text message saying, oh, sorry about that.
Oh yeah,
it's not like he's going to go and meet De Zerbi again, is he? Because De Zerbi said it was a waste of time in the first place. So all they do is send a letter, and then that's it, done with.
And worst case, Ben, are we going to get 3 points? No. Are we going to get the game replayed? No. So what's the point? What's an apology really going to do? Unless you're going to change and implement rules, What's going to change? Are we going to have another incident where we're going to have 6 decisions go against us and cost us potentially European football? It's a fucking joke. I'm sorry. Sorry, that's my rant over. Anyway, that's that. I've got it all out the way. Thank you very much. Thank you. And then going on to Dunk's goal, which I was buzzing about. I'm really happy for him. Obviously on his 200th appearance. Great cross by March. And a great header. Yeah, terrible marking. Ryan, we'll start with you. Was it poor defending, or was it a good sort of move from Dunk and the team? And
yeah, so I guess it's poor defending as well. To be fair, I mean Spurs will be pretty disappointed, but then they weren't good. You know what I mean? They weren't good. So I mean, it's the sort of goal that was coming against them. Really, I mean, they were going to have something, and the amount of chances we had. I saw Stellini come out and say they had so many chances. I was thinking, my God, I didn't even see them have a kick in the game until Kane scored in the second half.
The geezer got sent off. Probably.
Yeah. But yeah, like I thought maybe bad defending, but what we deserved at the time. I genuinely thought it was a time for us to kick on because we really turned up a gear then and we pretty much dominated them for the next 30 minutes. And if it wasn't for, a stupid Matoma flick and a bit of a stupid goal to concede, really, the Kane one.
Yes.
I think we would have won. Webster. Really. I think we would have won that game or at least got a point, you know. We deserve way more out of that game.
Oh, yeah. 100%. A point was the minimum for me. And then going on to great save from Steele. This is the Perisic chance. It was a great save from him, to be fair. And I thought, do you know what? Steele, I thought he actually was... His distribution was great. I felt like, he looked good, and it was a great save from Perisic. And that sort of kept the game at 1-1. And we, like Ryan said, I thought we were much the better side. And then, of course, the big talking point, Welbeck disallowed goal. Now, Ben, start us off. Talk us through it.
Oh, mate. The hips don't lie, like Shakira said. But apparently they fucking did in this situation. I'm gobsmacked. I'm absolutely gobsmacked they've given it as a handball. He's literally hit his hip.
And his arms are here, mate. So what do you want to do? I mean, realistically, right?
He's not even facing the ball.
Yeah? Your hips here, right? Your hips here, yeah? Your arms are here. If you're stood like this,
oh, Jesus Christ,
what's going to happen when someone shoots?
I love it.
What do you do with your arm? If he did this,
it's
fair
true.
enough.
Yeah.
If he did that, then fair enough.
Yeah.
If he does that, fair enough.
Yeah,
if he's doing this, what's he supposed to do? Oh my God.
That's my biggest thing with handballs is I think the rule should be I think it actually states it on the laws section 12 of the FA website. But if you deliberately
section
Hickey, right?
12 of the FA.
So you know Hickey, the one you were referencing earlier, Ryan, the Hickey handball, like the proximity one, last week, for Brentford. So obviously his hand is quite away from his body, so you could argue he has stopped the ball from getting into the box, and that is a clear Stonewall penalty.
Yeah.
Whereas, like you said, McAllister has got his arms
you have to laugh.
He's made an active choice. He's made an active decision to think, right, I need to get my hands out of the way. He's not gone, I'm going to leave my hands out. He's actively thought, right, let me get my hands out of the way. I'm going to bring them inside, and it doesn't even hit his hands, let alone,
If it hit his elbow at most, right? If it hit his elbow at most, and it's hit his hip, I think maybe it's ricocheted onto his elbow off his hip, right? That's the reason why I can see. But even still, again, what's he supposed to do? Because I mean, he can't get his arm any more out of the way, but then doing this, right? So, I mean, physically, as with the human body, you can't just hit my arm against the table. Then, physically with a human body, you can't. Yeah, I mean, you tell me, I get the VAR on it, but mate, I don't even believe it. It's just
out of
mad.
129 episodes, it's the first time someone stood up.
Everyone can see.
No one's ever seen our legs before. Yeah, someone's just seen Ryan Atset's legs.
I've got the Pull and Bear cargos on today. So actually, no, they're not even in Zara. I think
he made sure he was wearing some decent drip underneath. So you've all standing up.
Just on this as well. Like we mentioned, it's actually hit his midriff and hip. But now with angles, right? The Kurt angles in the VAR room, are they watching every angle? So obviously, when I was watching on telly, but when I was seeing every angle, they were showing all the angles. The first one looked actually quite, not inconclusive, but there was maybe an argument that it didn't it hit a bit of his arm, etc., his elbow, whatever you want to call it. But then there was one angle where it was so clear that it's just gone past his hand and it's gone and hit his hip. So do VAR have that? I don't get it. Are they watching the same angles? Are they just watching one angle? I don't understand.
Mate, I don't get how if everyone can see that it's wrong, everyone, like including most Spurs fans, to be fair, the way back to the station, I was even talking to a few of them and they were saying, mate, you were so unlucky, like, we completely robbed you. And like, fair play, right? But if everybody can see, including a lot of Tottenham fans, including rival fans, Palace fans on Twitter as well, but they agree with us. If everybody can see it, but then there's like, 3 or 4 people that can't, and they're the ones that get the decision. How on earth can that possibly be right?
That's such a good point.
How can that work?
No, it's true.
Mate, it actually defies
insane.
logic to me, because it'd be like, when like, a government make a mistake or something and they're untouchable because they're at the top. It's the same sort of process in football. There's everything at the top, and it's like this untouchable chamber that no one can access apart from them. And it's, at some point it's going to boil over, because as much as we laugh and we joke and stand up on a podcast, but it is ridiculous, because if this keeps happening every single week, and, it's not just us, at the end of the day, it's not just us. It's not saying there's anything against us particularly. It's for everyone that's really in the Premier League. For this to keep happening, it can't, because it will eventually make us lose faith in the game. Because, mate, I lost faith in VAR in the first week that it got implemented. I let it go last season. I think I let it go a little bit, and then I got back angry again. And then here I am again, complaining about the same things I was complaining about in 2019. So nothing's changed, nothing's improved, nothing's, we've not moved on at all in the last 4 years. If anything, we've actually gone further backwards, because we've got more stupid rules that nobody understands. Fans are at games left in the dark, not having a clue what's going on. At what point does something change here? Because you can't just keep doing this, because people will lose faith.
No, 100%. I think 2 points you made really well. The fact that nothing seems to change, and it's like, I feel like since VAR's come in, we've actually got more controversy and more debate than when we had it before.
More rules, overthought things, and no one understands what it is.
Yeah, and also as well, the point you made about like not just us suffering as Brighton Hove Albion fans. There's a lot of other clubs getting injustice as well, and it's funny actually. I'm in a group chat with loads of like random football fans from like all over the league, like a lot of the sort of bottom half. And one of them was a Fulham fan, and he said this. So they said, "Any thoughts on Brighton?" And he said, "VAR is a joke." And for Brighton yesterday, appalling. But tell me which club hasn't had poor decisions go against them? That's football, I'm afraid. Take good with the bad. They need to stop feeling entitled. So, Ryan, would you like to
I'll respond to him.
back?
Mate, I don't know what you've been smoking last night, but I'd assume if you replied that this morning, you might have a different response. Because as a Fulham fan, surely he's had Mitrovic banned for 8 games. We're just talking about Harry Kane. Do you know what? I'll put myself in a Fulham fan's shoes here, and I'll say, look, I would be livid at the fact that Mitrovic has got the same amount of ban as Suarez got when he was a racist, right? And I think that for that alone, I don't know how he can be possibly saying you get the rough with the green. Because when you then look at Kane, for example, surrounds the referee, pushes people over, dives all the time. He's constantly getting away with everything. But because he's the England captain, he's like some sort of untouchable king, right? Mitrovic is looked at as a demon because he's, I don't know, because he plays for Fulham, maybe. I mean, and he gets in trouble. But if Kane got picked up on for half the stuff that he does, he would be looking way worse than Mitrovic. But there's one that looks worse than the other. I
think he is now starting to get picked up, though.
Yeah,
from listening to
compared to Mitrovic's reputation.
He's getting a lot of stick, and even just on social media, of course, as he has always. But yeah, pundits are starting to pick up on it now, which is good. But obviously, like I said earlier, it hasn't changed him, hasn't stopped him from doing what he done yesterday, diving around the place.
Well, and so on the back of, obviously, I know we diverted away from it, but obviously away from the Welbeck disallowed goal. As a result, of course, Stellini and De Zerbi both got sent off, which, was it two red cards now? 3 for De Zerbi this season?
Like 18 this season, 18 and 18 games for De Zerbi.
He loves it. He loves it. But I actually love it. I love the passion he shows. And also, of course, before the game...
How long can we keep doing it, though? Like, I love De Zerbi, right? I absolutely love him, but you can't get red cards every week. Because at some point it's going to cost us, isn't it? Like, we're going to get in trouble. And
not as much as Reams, though, for paying £22,000 for Will Steele every single week. You know what I mean?
But no, it's true. Obviously, it's funny to an extent, and then it doesn't get funny because because if we start losing games as a result.
If he's not on the touchline for Wembley, I don't know who you've got
before Man
United.
Mate, we'll play him off the park though. That's where every time Maldera's been manager, we've done unbelievable, haven't we?
We've got Chelsea before that. We've got Chelsea.
Oh, well, he's getting sent off for that as well, isn't he?
Yeah.
Ad's going to get sent off in the stands.
All right again, but it's just...
Ad's sat in the derby, sent to the stands.
I probably, mate, to be honest with you, I probably could have been yesterday. I did quite well to hold it together, if I'm being honest. But there's a lot of people losing their heads out there, and I can't blame them.
But it was quite funny, obviously, yeah. So they both got sent off, and before the game had an altercation. They had a bit of a sort of back and throw between each other before the game. So well, apparently, so according to reports, Stellini made some pre-match comments which were quite like derogatory to Brighton, and De Zerbi's a manager, and obviously didn't take to. Yeah, he basically said that was it. He did that. He'd basically just taken Potter's team and sort of like Potter had already.
And this
set
is
up
his
the
Tottenham team. Like, what's that even mean?
Yeah. It makes no sense.
Interesting.
So yeah, apparently that's what he was angry about. He in the post-match conference, the interview. Sorry, De Zerbi didn't actually. He got asked. He was like, "Why did you get sent off? Like, what happened? Blah blah." Yeah. And the interview actually said, "Was it because of Stellini's pre-match comments?" And he was like, "No, it's just we're both Italians, and it just comes across that way. We might be looking like we're angry at each other, but it was just normal football chat." And I was a bit like, "Yeah, of course,
yeah,
of course
sure,
yeah, sure, mate, sure." So yeah, we'll never know what it was actually about, but yeah, of course, the pre-match it was all about the comments, and then during the game, of course, it was Welbeck's decision. He got very angry, and then he sort of took a back seat. I saw he was sort of just standing there, and then the whole backroom staff of Brighton basically attacked Spurs' backroom staff, and I don't know why he got sent off, because he was actually sort of chilling behind. He was just sort of standing there, letting them do their thing.
What, Stellini?
No,
Stellini was as well though. Stellini was just
I don't know,
even looking.
So I don't know why they got sent off there.
I think it was just because they weren't
mostly the back room.
They weren't
controlling
their staff.
Right.
I don't know.
Fair enough.
They were both just stood there, not doing anything, just like see all the coaches like trying to scrap. It's so funny
watching it get kick off. And then of course, this is the actual big one. I've said every single decision's been the big one. This is the actual big one. The Matoma penalty.
That's been apologised for.
Yes,
this is the one they've been.
This is the one they've actually come out and apologised. Which, of course, Ben, of course, it's gonna. Yeah, it's all right. It's all right. We'll get the 3 points. We'll get Europe, and it'll be fine, mate. Yeah, no worries. Cheers, Howard Webb. So yeah, Ryan, kick us off, mate. Højbjerg on Matoma, clear stamp, not given. Thoughts?
I reckon Højbjerg is third most insufferable in the league. Thinking about it,
who's number 2 then? Kane's 1.
Bruno Fernandes, isn't he? He's annoying.
Yeah, nice,
I hate playing against.
That's a good top 3. That.
Yeah, Højbjerg 3. He's just annoying. So yeah, on that topic, he's done it again, hasn't he? He's done it again, hasn't he?
He's done it again.
Yeah,
he's done it again,
he always seems to have a say against us, Højbjerg, and he always winds me up every time. He did it at Southampton as well. And yeah, that's a penalty, isn't it? I mean, he stamped on his foot. He's looking directly at it as well, the referee. So how we can't see that is genuinely beyond me. Then how they check that on the VAR screen and still say that's not a penalty when it took, me looking at it once to say, look, that's a pen. And I would have said it the other side. It's not just because it's Matoma or just because it's a Brighton player. No matter what we say here, Spurs fans just watch it and say, yeah, you're just crying, you're salty. I would have said it if it was the other way around, So, I can be honest too.
If you could have picked up the referee and put him anywhere on that pitch for that moment, you'd put him where he was.
Yeah. Well, so do you think when it comes to like VAR and that kind of moment, so we can all agree, right? Well, they've now agreed that it was a clear Stonewall penalty, okay? So do you think in that moment, that VAR assistant sat there and he's gone, right, is it fear? Is it, I'm scared to make decisions? Or like, what's going through his head at the time to think not to give that? That's what I'm really baffled by.
I can't get my head around that.
Is it fear? Is it inexperience? Is it, I don't know, I'm trying to think of... Yeah. Is it a massive wedge of money stuffed in his post box? I don't know. But yeah, it's just insane to me that, yeah, when you're sat there and you're watching that over and over again, to think, oh no, do you know what? That's not a penalty. I actually don't get it.
I actually don't get it. It's the one thing in the whole of football that I don't think anyone will ever understand is what the referees think in these moments, because especially when it's so obvious they're wrong, whether it's a pride thing, whether their ego's too big for them to be able to admit they're wrong, I don't know. But
why can't we have what rugby do? You can literally hear people,
the communication.
You can hear them talking, going, "Oh yeah, there it is. Yeah, that's it." It's like, let's rewind it quickly. Let's watch that bit back. And it's brilliant. You can hear it. You can hear it in the stadium as well.
it stems back to what I said earlier about having that communication and the accountability. I think that's the key thing. Referees don't get held accountable, and I think that's what really aggravates me. And I think there needs to be a big reform where let's hold them accountable. Why do they get protected so much? Players don't get protected, managers don't get protected, chairmen most of the time don't get protected,
fans don't get protected.
Fans don't get protected. Why do referees get all this big protection, this big sort of, like a Wakanda style, layer of defence, around them? I don't.
Howard Webb and all the boys just doing it.
Yeah. Let's just give terrible decisions, and then we're not going to get held accountable. We can put out a poxy little apology letter, and things will just carry on next week. Oh, people will forget about it. Don't worry, a couple of days, people will forget about it.
That's their logic, isn't it? They just think that we'll just forget. And I can still remember West Brom away in the COVID year when the Dunk scored that free kick and how livid we were and all that. Mate, there's so many. There's so many that's happened, and not just to us, but in general, that I can just remember coming on this podcast, talking about it to mates, talking about it to family, about how rubbish the decisions have been, or how rubbish VAR's been, and how much I don't understand this and that, and how the referees don't, how many times can you have the same conversations? At some point, something has to change. And now I think it's got to happen, because I think that someone's got to take it to a higher ground, because as soon as you disagree, you just get a fine, you get a ban, you get a red card, you get in trouble. It makes it untouchable, and it makes it also unwatchable.
Who is protecting the refs, by the way, of like not giving them interviews, not making them do this sort of stuff, not making them being watched live?
The FA?
Why though? It'll make their game so much better, and it'll make it more interesting. It's so when I watch rugby and you hear them talking, it's so cool
it's more
to see
respect
and hear.
as well.
Yeah, but I think there was. I remember, when we trialled it. So football trialled the communication thing. Apparently, the language was awful from the football players. As in, they were swearing. They were.
You can shit the shout.
Yeah,
that's the thing. Like the respect to control the game, then, isn't it? He should stop.
No, but it's just the audio's just in the box, just in.
That would be much better. Yeah, so
you can't hear the referee on the pitch
and the referee. Yeah.
All you hear is the people in Stockley Park talking.
Yeah, and then as soon as the referee has to answer a decision, his mic turns on. That's what it should be. He should. As soon as there's a big call or a decision that's acceptable, he's got to then turn on his mic, or the people automatically turn on his mic, and then he talks and explains to viewers, the fans in the ground, why he's done that. Because that's the 100%. Only way that it would make any sense, and then fans can have their reaction. Because all the time that, particularly, we didn't even mention the fact that before the game, there was a 3-minute delay to kick off. And no one understood in the ground what was going on. We thought there was just a technical issue. Wasn't that because of his... but it was... I don't know. But
I think it was technical. I think it was the referees...
Was
referees, I think his referees' comms, funnily enough. The comms, I think, it actually...
the irony. More like justification in the ground, because we don't have a clue. We're just standing there like idiots. Well, not standing, actually. We're sitting there because he had a...
In the stadium, it's just on the screen. It just says VAR pending, doesn't it? Like, VAR check. And then it doesn't give you any other context.
Yeah.
Or it might say like handball or offside or whatever, but aside from that.
And then sometimes they'll show it on the screen, they'll show the incident, but then sometimes they don't. Like, I think even when we played Brentford,
like a split second,
when we played Brentford, the Hickey handball, but I think they put the Hickey handball on the screen, but they didn't for other stuff. It's just like, where's the consistency? Just show everything.
And then when you score a goal, they put the screen on and slow motion, 3 replays. You see every angle. It's like, so how can you have that many attempts at this, but then when we want to see a decision, we're not allowed to see anything? It's almost like it's some sort of it just drives you mad. It's enough to actually drive you mad. I think. I think football it can't be good for you. What it does for you internally, that's for sure.
Yeah. No, 100%. And then final 2 things, boys. So we're nearly at the end of the big dossier I've made. So now this is quite interesting, actually. So Lenglet on Dunk. Now it was the free kick where Dunk's gone to go for the header and Lenglet's basically pulled his shirt. Penalty. But in the build up to that, before Dunk did stamp on.
Did he make contact? I saw he tried.
He did. So. Okay. Let's be fair here.
But that doesn't justify the fact that was not the penalty afterwards.
But he got nothing. Like, he didn't even get a yellow card.
Did he actually touch it though?
He did.
Yeah, he did stamp on it. That would have.
He did stamp on it.
Right.
So do you think that should have been like? Let's put our biased caps at, or we're not biased. We're
actually very.
down the middle. But yeah, that could have actually been a red card.
Stupid,
he does. He was stupid. It was dumb. It was dumb because I was thinking at the time, I was like, why has he done that? Like, it's clearly because nowadays it's not like the old days where you got no cameras looking at you. Got literally and get away with it. Like you're going to get caught. No matter what you do, you're going to get caught. There's just no two ways about it. So I just thought that was incredibly.
You get named and
shamed. You get named and shamed. You're going to prison. Yeah, so I thought that was incredibly stupid. Like it was a moment of madness.
Their blood had boiled.
Boys, I'm going to interrupt you. Breaking news: Brighton are seeking clarification from referees Chiefs over as many as 5 controversial decisions in yesterday's 2-1 defeat at Tottenham, and the Seagulls are also not satisfied with the explanation for manager Roberto De Zerbi's red card for failing to control his bench. So we're pushing it. We're not happy with it.
Go on, boys.
Good. Go on, Tony. Take on and Paul Barber.
Do you know what I think is going to happen? Is they're going to, because they feel bad, because obviously they can't give us 3 points. They can't give us a rematch. Well, no, they can't. They won't do any of those. But I think, do you know what they'll do? They'll overturn his red card just because they feel bad. They'll overturn De Zerbi's red card. So. But again. What is that?
Like what at all, does it?
It doesn't. No, not at all.
What creases me is, there's that meme of all the Man City lawyers walking into the courtroom. There's like 50 of them. For us, it's Paul Barber and little Tony Blue walking in with a briefcase. Like
that's what you need.
Small man, big bank account, and a very, very big winning in a gambling game. That's for
and
sure.
A big brain. And a big brain. That's all you need, mate.
He's a genius. I love it. The boy is a genius, so never knock him for being 4 foot. That's for sure.
Yeah. But yeah, so just quickly to summarise that little bit. Langley on dunk, for me, 100%.
Yeah, Longley should have.
Penalty.
Yeah, that's a break. That's
100%.
Penalty.
Yeah, 100% penalty. And yeah, arguably, Dunk, lucky man to get away with the red card there, to be honest, from that stamp on Romero.
Yeah.
So,
see, Spurs fans, we're not idiots.
Yeah, we can't.
Right?
We're not idiots. We're not.
We're not.
And then finally, this, boys, I'm not going to lie to you. When this went in, my head was on Mars. Like, when I saw, after all,
my mum was on Jupiter.
Honestly, it was on Jupiter. Honestly, when I saw that goal, when I just saw it, I just went, what's the point? Why, Lord? So yeah, Kane's goal. I mean, yeah, deflection, Veltman went in.
Stupid.
Compounded the day, really.
But I think when you've been so on top all game, with everything against you, naturally, I know you shouldn't, and I know it's wrong, and I know you have to put accountability on the players, but your heads are gonna go. You're a human being. Your heads are gone. And then you get caught on a stupid counter-attack. You've been nutmegged, cut back, goal, best striker in the world. Everyone knows it. For God's sake, it had to be him. And you just, it's one of those, isn't it? Yeah, and it just falls perfectly, and it's everything of not poetic justice, but the complete opposite. And it's horrible to watch. And yeah, you have all the Spurs fans celebrating, and it is what it is. But they shouldn't have never have got to that situation in the first place. We should have finished them off before then, but we didn't get that opportunity to. I had something to say on that goal, but I can't remember what it was. It's gone up my head. But yeah.
But yeah, I was just going to say,
Harry Kane done nothing all game, scores a goal. Yeah. That's what happens when you got Kane and Son. Unfortunately, you got world class players like that. I know before, I think Maz, you weren't on the preview, but we spoke about what players get in the Brighton team, and I think undisputedly on form, or however you say undisputedly. Kane was the one, and when you have like world class players like that can just do it in that moment,
it's annoying though, Ben, isn't it? Because
1 second where they're unbelievable again.
Yeah.
If he was like, he completely outplayed us. He was untouchable. He was the best player on the pitch by miles. Couldn't get near him, and then he scored a fantastic goal. And you'd put your hands up, wouldn't you? And he wasn't on his floor all the time. And you would say, fair enough. He's absolutely brilliant. And that's what I do with the Son goal. As much as he winds me up equally, but like I think if you had, a moment of pure magic, like an Eden Hazard moment back in the day, or something like that, Erling Haaland, you say, look, fair enough. But when it's how it's got to that, you can't accept it as easy. And I think that's why we're so angry now looking at that goal, because you can't accept it because you don't believe the fact you've lost that game. It's still not in my head, the fact that we have lost that game, because it should never have got to that situation. That's what Kane winds me up with. He didn't beat us on merit. He beat us on cheating, and he won again.
Yeah, no, agreed. And then going on to, that's pretty much the game summarised. All the key points we've gone through. We've literally gone through it with a fine tooth comb. And I wanted to ask, so I had a few questions sort of just to put out there for you boys. So I did have, before the apology, because obviously the apology was like breaking news, I did have like what's going to happen next, will we get an apology, all that kind of stuff. But obviously that's been covered. So I mean, my next question is, what do we think of referees? Just quickly from each one of you, I'd like to get a quick summary of what do you want to see changed, if anything, and what do you think's the key things that you want for them to learn from this game. So we'll start with you, Ben.
What I want to see is the interviews. I want to see communication. Even if they're saying that the players are going to be swearing, so you can't do that. Just listen to Stockley Park. We don't need to hear the referee on the pitch for the whole time that they're going through it. They're reviewing it. At the end of the day, their VAR, they're reviewing it. They're reviewing it in there. It's got nothing to do with the referee at that point. I want to see interviews afterwards. They love themselves, some of these referees, so why wouldn't they want to be on the camera a bit more and get a few more Instagram followers and Twitter or whatever? So that's what I want to see. And I won't see any more. I don't think we will see any changes though. Unfortunately, well, for a long time anyway.
And Ryan?
Yeah, I agree with the press and the respect restored, but I think VAR's got to be gone until it's fit for purpose. I think if it was for me, it's taken too long. It's been, if we're making the right decision every week, it was getting the right decision, what it's there for, then fine, but it's not. And I think if we weren't in the situation that we are in now, we potentially lost out to a top 4 spot because of this exact reason. I think it needs to be gone. And I think a lot of these referees need to be sacked, if I'm honest with you. I think you need to pretty much wipe the board with all of them, start again, find some more. They say respect referees. That's a campaign going around now. I think people would, if there was respect all round, make the game more respectful. Stop with this hierarchy of who's the best, who's the worst, and who's lowest, and who makes the final decision. It's making the egos inflated every single time you're doing it, and it's keeping these guys at the top and everyone else below. And the footballers have got egos in themselves as well, so they're not just complete saints, by the way. So you've got a big clash of ego titans on a football pitch, and there's no respect in there. I think, if you go down and watch grassroots, there's an element of respect. If someone swears at the ref, you get a yellow card and a £20 fine. So I think that's, you need to have that respect restored. And once you do that, you have a bit more of a fair game. But unfortunately, it's just not going to happen because you can't tell that to people that don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
Apparently, it's super clicky, by the way, as well. I think there was a podcast where I said it, where I was told a friend that's been a referee, just saying it's so clicky. Like, there's never going to change because they don't let anyone come up and be part of the Premier League elite, and they're all the same people wanting to keep their jobs safe, basically, and they're all just so incompetent at the same time, and no actual good referees can ever get into the positions that they're in, unfortunately.
It's a shame.
Yeah. And it's and then just for me, just to summarise what I said earlier about interviews, getting accountability. Yeah, for me, big thing is accountability. Just making them accountable for their actions. They can't. It's like with any workplace, you always get held accountable. If I do something wrong at work, I get held accountable. So why is that any different for referees? And then finally, I think I would love to see some kind of like scheme where young referees are actually taught all the rules, all the new technology. I know obviously you can't replicate VAR at grassroots level, but have some kind of program or some kind of education where so they're ready for it when they come to the league. Because I feel like a lot of these referees they're not ready for, or they don't know how to use the technology. I think that's the key thing. The technology's great. The technology's fine. Goal line tech, VAR, brilliant. It's just the people using it are fucking idiots.
Thing to happen
so that's
to football, definitely.
Yeah, 100%. And technology is great, and I love that we're adapting to the times. But it's the people using it that are the idiots. They're the ones misusing the technology.
It's like when your nan has her phone, she's like doesn't know how to work a Nokia. It's like it's because she's incompetent at using that technology, and they're
exactly. It's not exactly. It's not the technology. It's the person using it. So I think that's the key thing. It's just education. Training and stuff
till it's ready, because you're not going to lose anything in dropping it now, because if we get an offside goal against us, there's a good chance that we get one for us the week after, because you're not being saved every single time, and there's not that stupid offside flag rule which I hate so much, where the flag goes up 20 minutes after, and then you've got someone got injured, and it drives you mad. The head injury situation, which takes the mick, the new offsides, the new handballs, the changing of laws. Yeah. Nobody gets it. So scrap it. Stop with all of this stuff and just start again.
You ruin our sport. Whoever's in charge of this.
Finally, from me, also as well, this is, I think, is a really key point as well. Referees now are so reliant on the technology that I think their decisions get skewed. So basically, let's say they put an offside flag up, they'll think in the back of their mind, oh, it's fine. Even if I get it wrong, VAR will save me. Do you know what I mean? They've got that safety net now. Basically, they can't go wrong. They can't lose. Like, they've got the safety net of VAR now because whatever decision they make, if it's wrong, exactly. So like they'll put their flag up and then they'll be like, oh, actually VAR's wrong. And they're like, okay, cool, no worries. VAR saved me. I'm not after the game. The press aren't going to kill me because the right decision's been made. So it's like they've got this massive safety net now, but then somehow they still getting decisions wrong. So I'm dumbfounded.
There's a situation which is pretty plausible as well. Who was the ref yesterday? Stuart Atwell, was it? Stuart Atwell?
Yeah. I think so.
If that's his name, and that he's looked at that Matoma thing. It's probably he's thought in his head that yes, that was actually a penalty, but VAR might change their mind, and I won't look that as much of an idiot. But if he says it is a pen and it's not a pen, I think it looks a bit more like a mug. So maybe that they're just a bit more resistant of actually giving fouls and just letting VAR do it anyway.
That's what I mean. Yeah, they're so reliant on it now. All right, boys. Well, and then final question before we go on to the Chelsea preview. How does this affect our European dream? And Ryan,
I was actually going to just say, this sort of leads on to what I was about to say anyway, because I was going to say, let's just remember how good we were yesterday. We played a fantastic game. We were better than Tottenham all over the pitch, left, right, and centre. We were better than them. Every man for man. I don't want to hear, Kane this, Son that. We were better than them. We were way better than them. We were better than the whole team. Longley, Perisic, Højbjerg, Kane. They threw it away with stealing the limelight, but for the wrong reasons. We can actually appreciate the likes of Moises Caicedo. We can appreciate... I think Alexis went a bit under the radar. Matoma had a lot of chances, probably deserved more, got way too much against him. We had Dunk played quite well. Steele made some fantastic saves, particularly first half. That one down low to his left or right. I can't actually remember where it was now. Right, I think it was. It was a fantastic arm. Mate, we played really well all over the pitch. We deserve way more than we got. McAllister made that good ball into Matoma, which was a great goal, which should have stood. Yeah, we should take credit for how fantastically good we were. And that's a good reason as to why, this next 2-3 years is still good for us. So I think that, despite the decisions, we played great. We still got a great team, a young team. And that's not even to mention the ones on our bench, like Ayari, Buonanotte, Gilmore, etc. We've got so many good players and Chizo. So yeah, I'm still excited by the future. And if we go beat Chelsea, which I'm sure we'll get onto in a minute, then it does change it a little bit and softens the blow a bit. But yeah, it doesn't completely kill our European hopes. I think it does probably kill our top four. But yeah, that's what it is, unfortunately.
Ben?
No, it's still alive. 100% it's still alive. It's just this horrible feeling right now after that, because the magnitude of a win and what that would have done, and to have that kind of taken away, feels unjust. I would happily lose a game, and I'll take a loss when we deserve to lose. I'll be like, yeah, that's fine. But when a game's that big and the 3 points would have been so massive for us, it's just really hard to take, and it's annoying, it's frustrating. But I do think, European dream's still alive. Top four, I think that was a fun dream. Still dream it, because if we do, we still got like 2 games in hand on some teams. I still don't think we'll get it, but the fact that we still can talk about it, it just shows how far we've come. I still think we will get Europe, but that is just a big blow, just the way it happened, really.
Yeah, no, 100%. I agree. Yeah, 2 games in hand. What are we? We're from. So if we get European football, we need to get top 7.
Unfortunately, our games in hand aren't they against City and Newcastle, aren't they? Which are
who?
Our games in hand.
Oh, our games in hand.
Yeah, City and Newcastle, I think.
Which doesn't help. Yeah, it doesn't help matters. But you never know. Like Newcastle, I know that. Yeah, exactly. I know Newcastle are bang on form at the moment, but they've shown a few chinks in their armour. Where
we're better than them on a day. Mate. We've got a good team, man. We can definitely beat Newcastle without a doubt. They're if I'm honest with you, they're a bit passion merchanty, aren't they? Without digging them out, because they've done well this season. But that's what they scream to me at home. They scream like passion merchants, and that's what an Eddie Howe team is, right? Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying they have no tactics and just vibes, but they have a lot of vibes, and I think that's what sort of carries them in them home wins. So yeah, we can beat Newcastle. City, you never know on the day. You never know. It's at home as well, so we'll see.
Yeah. No, 100%. And funny enough, Newcastle got Villa next, which is that'll be a huge game big game. But yeah, less about them, more about us. And we have of course got Chelsea, which great shame Potter's not going to be there. That would have been fun.
Ruined a day out,
being able to dunk on Potter again. Yeah. Dunk on Potter again, that would have been fun. But of course, they have got big Frank Lampard in, and apparently, I don't know if you boys have just seen breaking news.
He's been sacked already.
No, not quite. But apparently James Corden helped Lampard get the job with Todd Bowley, apparently.
Why is that the least surprising thing? Somehow that's so ridiculous that it makes sense that it's Bowley. Like, that just actually makes sense to me.
James Corden's a West Ham fan.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's sabotage,
TV host James Corden helped persuade Chelsea owner Todd Bowley to appoint Frank Lampard as interim coach.
Trust me, dude, this guy's great. He used to be the captain of Chelsea Super Blues.
Yeah, he's got a dog in him.
He's got that dog.
Yeah, no,
get him in, bro.
He's got that dog in him, dude. So Chelsea, let's start with you, Ben. Obviously, they're actually really terrible form. They lost to Wolves yesterday. They're 7 points behind us, and we got 2 games in hand on them. They've lost 2 out of their last 5, and only once in the last 5 games. Which, they're on a terrible run of form at the moment. Talk to me. What are your thoughts?
I think De Zerbi is going to rile these players up. These Brighton players are going to be bang up for it. Back in London. And then they're going to be so up for this game. Obviously, from previous experience of just beating, 4-0, or we beat him at the Amex. And then also just in the back of this Tottenham game, I think they're going to use that frustration and anger and put in an unbelievable performance, unless obviously the referees get involved. But I can only see us winning, really. I genuinely can. Like, they are a shambles on the field and off the field.
Yeah.
Just on that, before I let Ryan give his opinion, that actually reminded me. I tweeted out yesterday about using the hurt and the anger from yesterday's game to really propel us. Like, imagine how good it would be, right? Imagine how good it would be to use that energy and use that frustrations and the injustice, etc., to go through the rest of the season to get European football, whether it's Europa, whether it's a Conference League, and less likely Champions League now. And win the FA Cup. Again, I'm not trying to jinx it, but win the FA Cup. Imagine, in a dream scenario, imagine the big FU to the league and to the FA and to everyone involved being like, there you go. Like, you've effed us over.
You know Emi Martinez, his celebration with his golden glove when he was like, I feel like De Zerbi would do that with the FA Cup. Like, pointing at the chairman up in the stands going, hey.
I would love to see that. But and Ryan, talk to me. Chelsea, what do you think?
We will be there. We will be there. Unfortunately, I have to get there 2.5 hours before kickoff because we've managed to get the park in because I decided not to train this one because that was a nightmare last night. But we've got the parking on the road that shuts during the match day. So we've got to get there 2.5 hours before kickoff and leave an hour after kickoff. So we've got the short straw there, but it was all that was there.
Oh, man.
But we will be there.
Leaving
and
off
we
is
will
good,
be
though,
beaten.
because you missed all the traffic.
Yeah, and we'll to get everything back on track against Bowley. It still holds its weight. Bruno's still there. Cucurella, we can still boo, I suppose. And we've still got people there that we don't like. Paul Winstanley, the self-sabotager out there. But I don't know. I think it's going to be tough because obviously they're going to be up for it because they don't like us now for obvious reasons. But equally, we are better than them. They've got Frank Lampard, which is very funny now, considering we beat him 4-1 not too long ago against Everton. I'm just not so sure about that red orangey kit. I know we went to Everton and won in that kit, but that's all I can think of for good memories, isn't it?
Yeah. I hope we wear the Hyper Turk.
Yeah, Hyper Turk would be nice.
But also as well, I think Chelsea, like, my only thing is, and I agree with what you boys have been saying, I think they're terrible. Like, they are awful, especially under Frank Lampard as well. Now, I think they're terrible. But my question is, they have to start winning at some point, right? Like, when is that going to start? It has to happen sometime. Is it going to be against us? Is it going to be later on?
It'd be so
literally. That's what I'm thinking. I'm like, oh, is it going to be us? Like, especially after the Spurs game, how bad that was. Like, in terms of the injustice. Like, are we going to have another one of those games where we either batter them all game and they score like last minute, or like through Mudryk or Madueke or whatever, like some random shitty player they signed.
Yeah, historically, under De Zerbi, under Moldera, we are very good at bouncing back. I mean, when we are hard done by, we tend to come back, particularly when De Zerbi gets a red card, actually. We came back and smashed West Ham 4-0, wasn't it? I think we obliterated the Grimsby 5-0. So, I know that Grimsby are, you can't compare that to going to Chelsea away, but West Ham was a good example of Moldera ball. But I think we've got it. We're a good team. We didn't deserve that loss. There's no way that we should have an L on our record right now. It was an unjust loss, and we're way better than on the day. We've got better players than Tottenham. Chelsea are just a team of FIFA cards, and I think we'll be fine. I think as long as we turn up, we'll be all right.
Fucking hell.
Yeah. Well, the last time they beat us was at home. I remember the Reece James worldie. When he banged it. I think it was during COVID times, actually. Yeah,
that was it.
Trossard, wasn't it? They won 3-1. That's Trossard,
yeah. Was that like the first game of the season as well?
I think it was, 14th of September. So it was early on. It was early on in the season. Jorginho penalty, Trossard equaliser, Reece James
worldie. I was saying at the time we were good then and we didn't deserve to lose. So it's quite funny how it's... there's still some things that have stayed the same.
Yeah, full circle. Yeah, and then since then we've drawn 3 times and battered them 4-1 last game. So I mean, recent times we've been the better side, and looking at their run of foot, like awful. I know they had a little run where they won 3 games in a row, but apart from that, either side of that, they lost bare games. And Wolves yesterday, absolute worldie to be fair from Nunes, but they were poor. And Frank Lampard it's just a joke. It's just a joke. He's awful. So anyway, we've now set it up so that we lose.
Yeah, exactly.
We will be there,
boys.
We will be there,
boys. We will be there.
I'll be fine.
And then finally, we'll be good. And then predictions, Ryan. Score predictions.
2-0, I think. Yeah, we're fired up now. We're fired up. I don't see us conceding really, because we're a good team, mate. We've got good defenders. As I said, we should never ever ever have lost that game. Let's remember that. We should never have lost that game. Unless Chelsea are cheats too. I haven't seen evidence that they are. That's the only way that I can see them winning.
Got more money to pay off. So
yeah, he might have paid some, FA lords or something. But unless he's done that, I think we'll be all right. I don't know if he's smart enough to do that, to be fair. Let's say 2-0 to Brighton. We've got to be confident, and our tails will be up. Oh. I think Mitoma's due one, isn't he? Because after that game, he'll be right up for a goal because he's had one taken away and at least a penalty or 2. And also, let's go Evan back in the team. Late header to seal it off, and he's going to run into that away end and jump on all of us. It'll be great.
Love it. Ben?
Before I do, that's actually reminded me, I bumped into Evan last night.
I saw your tweet.
I got a picture of him as well. So funny. I was I was gone, obviously, but...
Surprise. Where were you? In Brighton?
Outside Black Lion, yeah. Mate, I ran up to him. So I got a picture of, obviously, I completely forgot to say that we do the pod, because we've spoken on DMs as well, through Seagulls Social. I just didn't say it, just didn't think of it. My brother, who's a Man United fan, was literally holding his arm, being like, "Evan, come to Man United, please." I was going, "Evan, don't go." And he was just laughing. He was just creasing. And so was actually, no, I'm not saying. But yeah, he was just creasing. But back to the game anyway. Yeah, hopefully he scores. I agree with you, Ryan. I think we should. Well, I think we'll win 2-0. My mentality has completely changed now. I think the Brighton of old, I'd be like I normally say, sitting on the fence, being a bit cautious. But I can only see us winning that. And I can't see us conceding. Chelsea are so cursed in front of goal. I watched them against Liverpool.
As well, aren't we?
It was like watching Brighton of old. They are so cursed in front of goal. Which probably then they'll be due one and then score against us. But
but to be tactical, Ben, the way that they play is just like what we want to play against. They're very open, and I think there's a lot of gaps there that we'll exploit. The only one that does worry me a bit is Felix. I think he's a great player. I know he misses a lot of chances, but my God, he's a skillful one. He's going to be hard to contain, to be honest. It'd be weird seeing him
Reece James
versus
Mitoma run as well.
I associate him to being like an elite talent, and now he's at a team in the mid-table. It's really weird, but yeah, it'll be interesting.
Yeah. No, it'll be, I reckon it'll be a tight game. I'm going to go with a win as well. 2-1, I'm going to go with. I think we'll concede 2-1, and I'm going to go with Ferguson and McAllister. I think I feel like he's due a goal. But what I do want to say quickly before we finish is that FA Cup semi-final. Obviously, Rashford pulled his hamstring yesterday. I think it was.
Is it groin or potentially
groin or hamstring? Yeah, one of the two. So basically, that could be huge news for us going into the semi-final against Man United. Because he's by far their best player. So yeah, that was an interesting revelation from yesterday. I suppose.
Yeah, I hope it carries on. They did bring on Christian Eriksen, so Eriksen's back. They'll have Casemiro,
and they got Casemiro back too, haven't they?
Yeah,
he's the one that I worry about.
The semi-final was approaching very fast.
Mate,
yes, very soon. Just on the semi-final, actually. Yeah, sorry to interrupt. Just quickly. I have got my ticket now. Me and my mate, we have got it now. But if anyone out there is listening has got any spares close, basically, we've got our seats are awful. Like, I didn't get the tickets. A friend of ours got it, and we're literally like like 3 rows from the back. Like, that's how far back we are. So, if anyone out there is watching and listening, if you have got a spare closer, please do let me know.
And you want to sit next to Maz.
Yeah, and you want to sit next to me, which it could be a blessing and a curse. Yeah, please do let me know. And yeah, DM Seagulls Social. Thank you very much. But yeah, boys, anything else you want to wrap up before we go?
I was going to say something and it's gone out of my head now. I was going to say something about the Chelsea game, but I can't remember what it was, to be honest with you. So that doesn't really help anybody. So yeah, just leave it there, to be honest.
Just email us the rest of it, Ryan. Yeah.
If you're listening to Oboli, actually,
no, that was it. I was going to say about Casemiro.
I want to thank him.
Sorry.
Okay, I just want to thank Oboli though, because the fact that he's taken Graham Potter for us, and we've actually got better. So yeah, thank you for what you're doing.
Cheers.
I still hate you because you put us through some stress, but yeah, cheers for fixing us.
I like him because he's a really good football owner, and I think the way that his strategy is fantastic. I think he's really well thought out.
Yeah, stick by his word as well.
Yeah, and also, I was going to say about Casemiro, him back for the semi-final is kind of dodgy, and I guarantee you, I'm going to put a little prediction in here that by the end of that semi-final, regardless of whether we win or lose, we'll be talking about an incident with Casemiro at that game because he's a very dirty player. And I have a feeling that something is going to come up, including him or Bruno Fernandes, and we're going to be a bit annoyed about it. I have a feeling, but we'll see.
Jahan Bash will somehow get headbutted again, but by Casemiro.
AJ
He'll be on the
Redemption
for some reason. It's like a guest. He'll be a guest, like presenting something, and then Casemiro just go.
Carl Walker 2.0. Yeah. And we'll probably get a penalty after full time or something. Yeah, do you know what I mean? So that'll be fun. But anyway, boys, listen, that was a very emotional, a very long podcast. I think over an hour, I think. Yeah, just under an hour.
My laptop's going to shit itself when it exports this, bloody hell.
Yeah, good luck with the edit, Ben.
Please.
But boys, boys. No, just to summarise this whole podcast, I think I can speak for all of us. Where, absolute injustice, terrible officiating, but like Ryan said, we played really well, and they're still, we're still looking really, really good for the season, and we got a big FA Cup semi-final to come, and a big game against Chelsea as well. So it's not all lost. Like,
I love it if we
look at
beat
the positives
them.
and we can be happy. Yeah, I love it if we beat them. But yeah, as always, please do like, comment, and subscribe. It really does mean a lot to us. It does help with
nearly
us.
Nearly at 4K,
nearly at 4K. So get us to 4K. That would be much appreciated. Smash the like button. As per usual, it really helps with the algorithm and all that jazz. And of course, if you're listening on Spotify and Apple, leave a review, leave a comment, all that good stuff. Again, really much appreciated. And we shall be back for post-match Chelsea.
Jesus Christ.
Love it.
Bye-bye.
Peace.